Hello and welcome to Space Between Ideas. I'm Blank Gates. This is my software projet, and project. How do I say it in Chinese? 我的那个软件项目 maybe 项目. So there's 4 languages for you. All right. So what are we talking about? Why is this video titled "Swarms of AI Agents"? Better than custom GPTs. What is we talking about? Now, let's jump into our ChatGPT. ChatGPT. In ChatGPT, you got this thing called a custom GPT. And I don't know. No, it's not going to show me. So I can see it here. Wait, is this my video? Oh, it's showing it. All right, good. Custom GPT. All right, so over here, you can create some custom GPTs. Now, if we jump into my Explore GPTs, then, all right, so I don't currently have the Pro, so I can't make custom GPTs. It means I also don't have access to my custom GPTs. Now, the thing is that I don't think that custom GPTs are useful if you are doing a software project, because GPTs are somewhat static. So rather than using this concept of custom GPTs, I think it's useful to think about this in terms of documentation. Let me show you the ultimate documentation. This is going to knock your socks off. So if you're wearing flip-flops, they're going to knock your flip-flops off. And if your feet are bare, your toenails are going to jump from the ends of your toes. This is going to change everything. Now, maybe it doesn't seem like it's going to change everything because I look like an idiot eating sunflower seeds. My dog is chilling on the floor. I got hours and hours of video with me just talking about nothing. And I'm forcing you to wait. Oh, I guess you could just jump forward in the video. Or you could just take the transcript and then make a blog article from it or a summary. But this is the setup. Now, as I showed you in my last video, I got my 15 docs set up. Then I had an updated liaison recommendation set up. Basically, it gave me 2 new synthesized documents and then a bunch of the old documents. Architect also gave me 2 new synthesized documents and also the old documents. Anyways, I took all those documents. I created 2 new. So we combined these 2 documents and these ones. You see, here's the project blueprint. This is also the application blueprint. So basically the first document from both liaison and architect, they created the same thing. Then we have the team operations manual, and then here we have the project operations manual. So you can see also, they also combine the same basic ideas there. And then I asked liaison to create me a new one. So you can see there's the project blueprint and the team operations. The key decisions document, they kept it the same. They said, yeah, it's a really good idea to maintain a key decisions document. And then finally, we got the active sprint operations. So it means where are we going? And then we got the sprint review. It means where did we come from? So what happens is we take this first one and we take the second one, and these 2 documents calibrate our AI, whether it's Google Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. We can just plug those in, which is why I don't believe in any particular brand of large language model anymore, because it's not about the electricity. It's about how you use the electricity, right? Nobody cares who makes the electricity anymore. there's a standard. What matters is how you harness that electricity to your means, to what you want it to do. All right, so we set up the first two documents, and then here's the key decisions about our software project. And then this is our map. So this is where we're going on our map, and this is where we've been on our map. See, the issue here now is going forward, I don't want more than 5 documents. I want to maintain these 5 documents at all times in all places. I think a software project has 5 documents. That's it. I mean, if you're using AI to be your helper, to be your software, because I don't create the prompts. I think most vibe coding people, they're using the cursor or the windsurf directly. So they go into windsurf, into cursor, and then they're inside of the environment, and then they're creating the prompts inside. They're like, okay, and then they usually have some understanding of software and how the whole system is supposed to work. And then they're like, okay, I want you to do this, and now I want you to do that. They already have the project roadmap in their brain, and they have a basic idea of what's supposed to happen. I don't. I have zero understanding of software. So what I have is a basic understanding of managing people and projects. What I have is I understand what ClickUp is. I understand what Monday.com is. It's just a task list. I understand what Trello is. It's a task list. So, and I understand that the most difficult thing in life is not accomplishing tasks. The most difficult thing is understanding what should the tasks be. How did you create those tasks? And so here's a system for managing the creation of tasks. All right, so I manage the creation of tasks, and then I plug it into AI, and then AI can accomplish those tasks for me. So what's the key? Why is it that custom GPTs don't work? Because custom GPTs, they don't have an internal method for updating the documentation. All right, so at the end of the sprint, right now I'm on sprint number 3. So you can see currently we have our active sprint is sprint number 3. Our last sprint that we finished was sprint number 2. So you can see that this document is called Sprint Review 2. So the name of this document is going to change once we finish sprint number 3. And then the name of this document will change once we start sprint number 4. And maybe we'll update the key decisions. Unlikely, but it's possible that maybe a couple of the lessons learned will also enter into the 1 or 2. So the question is, from where we are right now, what is going to change between now and then? Basically, what's going to change is what the LLM learns while it goes through sprint number 3. And there's 2 issues. Issue number imagine I die right now, and then it's like the key to the universe. The key to the universe is the first prompt. All right, this is what you've all been waiting for. You ready for this? Boom. At the end of our working together in this context window chat, I will ask the following questions. If at any time you're near the extent of your available token context window and require a new window, chat. With the documents, I will provide uploaded. What the fuck? With the documents, I will provide. What the heck does that say? And require a new window with the documents. Okay, I think that makes sense. If at any time you're near the extent of your available token context window and require a new window with the documents I provide, uploaded once again to calibrate this custom session for our work together, please provide There should be a comma. Who wrote this? Please provide a warning signal and trigger the following questions so that we can process. So we can process? That's not the right word. We can what? Engage. So we can engage in the process of document revision in preparation for calibrating a new AI instant new chat. You see, at the end of our working together in this context window, what am I talking about? So I'm talking about. So here's a new Gemini context window. I fed it this message. And now look what it said. Understood. I will keep track of our interaction. When it seems we are nearing the context window limit, I will provide the following. Warning signal. We are approaching the context window limit. Triggered questions. Do you still have access to the beginning of this conversation? Number 2. Do you need me to upload the 5 calibration docs to have full access to the document's content? Number 3. Based on the work we've completed since uploading these docs, what specifically would you add or edit from the set of documentation so that when I calibrate a new AI instance, I will get a new liaison and new architect with the changes and a new context window to continue working from where we left off. I am ready when you are. Dun dun dun. You see? So we get the warning signal. So when it's getting close to the 1 million token context window, it's going to warn me. What does it mean? Because see how I'm uploading these documents? I'm uploading these 5 documents. Now, as we approach the 1 million token context window, it's no longer going to have access to the specific details, the actual text of these documents. Once you pass the 1 million token context window, then what Gemini does is going to take this document, it's going to simplify it, it's going to revise it, it's going to make it basically it's like a summary. And then the stuff earlier in the conversation is just summarized and they don't have the actual details. Now, I need the actual details. So you still have access to the beginning of this conversation. Why? Well, if you don't, then I can re-upload those 5 calibration docs, right? So imagine it sends me the warning signal, and then, okay, we're at 1,100,000. And then I say, okay, so can you, what? So based on the work that we've completed, I want you to edit those original documents. And it says, no, we already passed the 1 million token context window. We can't edit these documents because I don't have access to them anymore. Okay, then fine, it's okay. So I should have stopped earlier. Now, it's like, one time I made a video and I ran out of energy. I ran out of battery power. And then like YouTube just like, what happens to your video when you run out of battery? You just plug it back in. And it turns the computer on. All's well. Apparently it damages the battery or something like that. All right. And then what? So I upload the video. All right, so let's go back to the screen. So that's the first prompt. That's it. So then it's ready. It's ready for these 5 documents. It knows that I'm going to give it 5 calibration documents. And it knows that at the end of our working together that I'm going to be requesting some amount of effort to make some updates for these documents. And then if you want to update these documents, I'll just ask it for the new updated text. First, I'll ask it, so what are the specific things that you think need to be updated and how urgent or how much do you believe that it should actually be updated? Maybe it says, okay, the project blueprint doesn't need to be updated. The team operations manual doesn't need to be updated. We didn't make any key decisions, but we need to close out sprint number 3 and we need to begin sprint number 4. Okay, perfect. All right, so give me the updated version of number 4 and number 5. And then it prints it out up to the doc. There it is. So now the other thing that you need is your master prompt. Actually change the names of those master prompts so it shouldn't say 12 anymore. Oh well, I don't care. anyways, maybe you saw the master prompt in another video. The master prompt, it just gets, there you go. You see that magic? It just gets the my cursor, well, I can do the whole screen. All right, so check this out. So the first thing I do is I go to the cursor master prompt. And I put the cursor master prompt in here. Now what that's going to do is, because I already got Docker, so Docker, it's like basically my database, and then Docker is connected to my Supabase database. So the connection between Docker and Supabase, this is not the online version of Supabase. This is only on my own computer. It's not connected to the internet. I mean, it is, but it's not connected to an internet version. So it's going to go through this master prompt. Anyway, it always figures it out. And then what that does is, here's my localhost 3000. This is where we're actually going to be able to see the software. There you go. So it started up the Next.js, and there you go. Now it's in. This is actually in our app that we're creating. So I could navigate. So I didn't make the navigation buttons yet. So we could actually, because we're logged in as this user, we should be able to look at other pages. We still haven't ever done that. But you can see that if we go to project overview, table editor, I think maybe storage? No. Tables. I have no idea. Storage. Where's my users? I got 2 users. User. This table is empty. I should have some users in here. How come I don't have users? Where's this user coming from? Test user number 6. It should be in here. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Here, so your development environment is fully available, and then so obviously these documents will also need to be updated as we start to add more functionality to our app. And then here's our windsurf. There. So, all right. So I just started up my engines. So these are the master prompts, and good. So our master prompts are good. It means that our development environments are up and running. The Supabase, Docker, and Startup IDE engine. Next is the calibration. Like I told you, I put in the first prompt and I said, get me ready. Now, the interesting thing is, okay, so after the 5th one, okay, I now have all 5 calibration documents. So I asked this crazy question. I said, can you take the role of liaison and prepare one prompt for each windsurf, cursor, and replete? Ask them the last few steps that we had been working on. I will respond with their comments, and then we can continue, and you will create the next prompt for them to continue our sprint. All right, so it says, hey, windsurf, we're continuing our work on the management guidance application, specifically within sprint 3, which focuses on this. And to ensure that we're aligned before moving forward then on this task, please summarize the last few steps in our development. So then, so look, there's no copy button. So I said, hey, listen, I need a copy button. So I added a copy button. All right, so I copied those over here. I don't think you can read it now. It's in somewhere. I don't know where it is. It's in our previous chat from yesterday. So Cursor said, okay, I'll help you get synchronized with the project's current state. I'll start by searching the files related to objectives and scoreboards to understand the back-end structure. So then it explains what's going on. That's cursor, and then under cursor, we've got windsurf, same thing. Okay, before we move on to front-end scoreboard display, here's a summary of the key back-end development steps. And the same thing with Replete. Based on the code base and recent changes, here's a summary of the major back-end API developments we've completed. And here's my Replete. So at this point, we're 100% ready. So, and then look, so then it adds the cursor prompt, it makes the Replete prompt, and it makes the windsurf prompt. So it means I have zero understanding of software development, but yet with the master prompts to get windsurf and cursor up and running, and with the calibration to create a new context window and these calibration documents, I'm like 100% ready to continue. All right, now let's go to the very end. So we did a little bit of work here afterward. Now there's kind of something weird now. It's decided that cursor is the gold standard, and obviously this is going to be inside the actual documentation. So probably in here when it talks about the project blueprint or when it talks about the operations manual. In fact, if we just open up this document and we search for gold standard. All right, so it's not in this one. All right, here it is. So when applying the lead AI gold standard workflow. Milestone parity. So this is called milestone parity. And I don't necessarily agree with this opinion. What it's saying is, well, let's read it first. So it says, for non-lead AI environments means that they have successfully replicated the exact gold standard code provided by leads on AI. For AI environments that cannot execute tests, windsurf, test parity is achieved when the project manager successfully runs the gold standard tests locally for that environment using instruction and improvement consistency for complex critical tasks. Achieve gold standard. Liaison AI intensively with the lead AI until its implementation is fully verified. Now, you see this, we got a problem. What's this? What is it? So when you have a capital letter like lead AI, then that means that it comes from somewhere earlier in the document. All right, so I suppose it must be, usually when you have these quotation marks. So it's saying that lead AI and gold standard means the same thing. Now, for some reason, how the system believes that Cursor is producing better code and thinks that Windsurf right now is producing substandard code, and also that Windsurf has some problems in its code. So then what happens is here, review of Cursor's code, strengths, robust, authentication is good, data fetching is good, data formatting good, status, fallback, styling, everything's good. Minor observation, check in the front end relies on project owner ID from use auth being the ID of the user of the currently viewed project. That this context variable has a different meaning. This specific front-end check might not be fully effective for all cases. However, if this is a minor point, as the backend API remains the definitively secure security checkpoint. Review of Replete's code compared to Cursor's gold standard. So I don't necessarily believe that Cursor is the gold standard. Replete's interface is less detailed. So they're comparing all the different code with each other. And more, All right, so now the next step. So I'll provide the prompt for you to give to Replete, asking it to update its scoreboard page based on the cursor's version, particularly focusing on the scoreboard task interface, the person field, the format date utility, and then we're waiting for Windsurf's code. So then it creates the prompt for Replete. And then I upload the code, the exact code from Windsurf. So now I get back to just regular copy and paste. Back to my job. So my main job is copy and paste. That's the job of a manager. It's to give the team members an opportunity, empower the team members for success. Once the team members produce what they're good at producing, for example, Cursor and Windsurf, they're good at producing code. And Gemini is good at, well, once you calibrate it into a custom GPT, then it's good at managing the project. I actually didn't make a architect yet. All right, let's make an architect. Exactly. It's just the same thing as last time. Now what do you want? All right, so next is, oops. We're gonna close the first prompt. We go 1, Control A, Control C, Control V. Control A, Control C. All right, so you can see here, so basically part 0 is the strategic context and development philosophy. This is including deliberate practice, using the deliberate practice methodology, approach competing positioning and vision for the app development. Project overview core methodology. So this is using the 5 core modules plus the scoreboard. And we have the application structure and UI workflow. This is talking about the workflow loops. It's talking about these loops here. How, like, basically you're doing, if you're using ClickUp or Monday.com, then you're going to update a status. And then the question is like, oops, do I have an undo button? Yes. All right, so the question is, are all tasks complete? If no, then we got to go back to touch base. What are you working on? What are you going to do today? What do you need help with? What are some potential sources for assistance? Can we update a status? Do we need to add or delete a task? Is there a change to the timeline? All right, so then that takes us back to the scoreboard, which means what? Update a task, a status, a person, or a date. Until what? Until we get the, yes, we completed all tasks. Then the question is, do we complete the project? And then if we didn't complete the project, then the question is, do I have an objective in mind? So if you ran out of objectives, then you have to go back to no, and this will help you brainstorm the objectives. And this one will help you choose which objective to do. And then the objectives module will help you to create your new scoreboard. So you create your new scoreboard, and then you're in this other loop. You're back into this loop until you've completed all the objectives. And once you've completed all the objectives, that means what? It means you've completed, well, that means you need a new objective. And then at some point, you reach the point where you've completed the project. Once you complete the project, it takes you back to this screen, and you need to create a new project. Once you create a new project, then you need to describe the project vision. So then inside your projects, you're going to have a list of projects. And then inside of each project, you're going to have a list of modules in the history section until you complete this project. And then once you complete that project, then you're going to go back to projects and create a new project. Ding ding. It's real simple stuff. So that's the loop. That's the workflow loops. Objective identification, execution, objective loop. Part number 3 is detailed module function specification. So it's like all the questions, data storage considerations for each module, including the scoreboard interface. We got the system architecture and data models. So the core data entities, user, project, module instance, scoreboard, task, status definition, API design principles, an example of data workflow, and objective scoreboard task generation. And then number 5 is technology stack. What's going on with the technology stack? Then we got the simplified brand guidelines. So anytime we want to make changes, no problem. No problem. All right, next we're going to go into the second document. This blueprint is what will serve as an excellent foundation for your work together with the management guidance application. All right, next. Okay, I've received the process, the team operations manual, management guidance application. This is a critical document, clearly outlines the operational framework, roles, and processes for our collaboration on the management guidance application. I have a good understanding of the foundational principles, commenting to dog fooding. I don't know what dog fooding is. Commitment to dog fooding. Embracing iterative development, AI collaboration. So we got the distinct responsibilities and interaction flows for the user, the architect AI, liaison AI, which I understand is the persona which I primarily adopt, and the AI IDEs. I've noted that the milestone parity and lead AI gold standard workflows, as well as prompting best practices. Sprint process and MVP roadmap, the 8-sprint high-level plan, and the defined intra-sprint cycle. Liaison AI workflow lessons and best practices. Architect AI workflow lessons and best practices. Coding standards and style guide. This is currently a placeholder. No. Architect. Is that how you spell architect? Wow, for some reason it's not correct. R. And I have already started the project. I already started making some progress that is not updated in the following 3 documents. We'll upload the 3 documents and then you can say hello to architect if you want, or just wait for hello to liaison if you want, or just wait. Or just wait till liaison has something to talk to you about. All right, so I just created my team. Now, why do I have this? See, swarms of AI agents. So swarms, before you have a swarm, you got to start with 1. And then once you have 1, so my 1 is over here. And then once you get used to working with liaison, now you have to also start getting used to work with architect. All right. So now we're on document 3. Bumpity bum bum. Now probably this is like, now it's going to be, hopefully it's going to be thinking about these ideas from the architect perspective. Looks like 7 critical decisions covering the technology stack, local development, Superbase, SSR usage, objective module, content schema, jest mocking strategies, windsurf AI limitations. AI, windsurf AI limitations. What's going on with that? All right, next is the active sprint. This is the one that we're working on right now. Now I'm just gonna, okay, I've received and processed the Sprint 3. Sprint 3 goals, objective module, scoreboard generation plus testing. Significant progress. Objective D, Objective E, relevant decisions were implemented. Immediate next steps. Front-end AI for basic scoreboard display. This involves creating this. Subsequent Sprint 3 tasks. I also note your earlier comment that you've made some progress. Not yet. I've updated these documents. I'll keep that in mind. All right. Now I just want to start up the engine of Windsurf. See, if you click this one, it shouldn't be running. Anyways, we'll just let it start the engine again for Windsurf. All right, last one, sprint review. So this is the history. These are earlier sprints that we've completed. All right, so this means Architect is now ready to go. And remember, before I was kind of like ending sprints, like I don't even know when, I don't even know why. Basically, I was like creating a new instance. I was creating a new Architect. All right, so it has all 5 documents. And it's waiting, so it's on hold. Great, so we can just close all these documents. Architect is here and ready to go. Probably I'm going to rename it Architect Sprint 3. And I will guess that this one is B. I think we already had an Architect before. Maybe we'll just do 0.1. Rename. And this one, although I know it's not 3.1, but anyways, we'll just keep it with the same. Liaison 3.1. There. Now, I just want to finish off by, I did a little bit of coding. Well, I did a little bit of copying and pasting. It appears that both Windsurf and Replete have successfully updated. So now what it's doing, it reads the code for Replete and Windsurf, compares it to Cursor, and then it's forcing these other environments to follow the standard of Cursor. I don't know if that's the right way to go. All right, so then we make a prompt, and then it's just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. Now, look, the last thing I wanted to cover is this. So I'm going to log off. Let's start again from tomorrow. Is there any special command I should print so that you have full access to the details in this chat tomorrow when I log back in? Okay, understood. There isn't any special command you need to issue for me specifically. When you return to this chat session tomorrow, I should still have access to our conversation history up to this point, thanks to the platform's session management. We are not currently near the context window limit. However, as per your initial instructions, if we get close to that limit in the future interaction, I will provide a warning signal and trigger the set of questions you outlined so we can manage the transition smoothly. For now, just ensure that you return to the same chat window. I have the prompts for task E4.1, link from objective module page for scoreboard ready when you get back. I'm back. Boom. You see? So the goal is, okay, I set up a new Architect instance. Would you like to say hello? Hello, Architect. All right, now we're getting even closer to swarms, right? Swarms and swarms. And then I copy this and paste it over here. Hello, liaison. Thank you for the introduction. It's good to formally connect. I appreciate your readiness to translate strategy into actionable steps. I understand the current focus. I can confirm the status of this. We're doing this. Status is complete. All three environments are doing this. And then error handling this based on ready for refined approach for this. Link to the objective module for the scoreboard. Any subsequent steps, liaison. Hi, liaison. Thank you for your comprehensive update. It's excellent to hear that the task are both complete across development environments and that the scoreboard page is now functional and aligned with the gold standard. This is significant progress. With the scoreboard page ready, we can confidently proceed with task blah, blah, blah. From an architectural user experience, here's the guidelines for implementing this link on the objective page. Link placement. The link should be logically placed on the objective modules page. Consider placing it near the save button. Link destination, consider viability activation, link labeling, functionality. Done. So the the architect gives like an overall picture of, see, architect's actually managing liaison. And liaison is managing cursor and windsurf and replete. And I am, so that's the difference between a manager and a leader. I'm the executive. I have the overall vision of this process. And then architect is the manager of liaison. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to pop in the cursor. Boop. Replete. Replete. I don't know what it says. Boop. Beep, bop, boop. Windsurf. Boop. Done. And now we're back into quilt. So this is a show, in case you're wondering, this is a show about quilting with Grandpa Blaney Bubs. Bubs. Quilting with Grandpa Blaney Bubs. So as you know, quilting is a process of old people putting all these things together. There's Blaney Bubs right there. Nice. All right. Busy. Windsurf. Busy. And replete is busy. Everybody's busy. And then awaiting their responses to update the code. So that, my friends, is all she wrote. Now, once the context window sends me the alert that I need to reset my liaison, or if it sends me an alert that I need to update my Gemini, then we'll just update it. Now, let's say we finish the sprint and then liaison says we need to make some changes to the documents. I might ask liaison to recommend the changes, and then I can then pass those recommendations over to Gemini, and then ask architect what he thinks about these changes and are they necessary and how best to implement them. Then I bring that advice back to liaison, and then I ask liaison for the updated text. Once I get the updated text from liaison based on the advice from architect, then I click the button for whichever document it is and replace the entire text. Then I retire. I mean, I don't necessarily have to retire because then I'm waiting for the alert. If I don't get the 1 million token context alert, then I don't need to. I can start sprint number 4 without creating a new context window, without creating a new liaison now, because I have the alert. So I know that when we reach the end of the alert, then it's fine. And in fact, once I hit that alert, I can once we've updated all the documents, I can ask the liaison to send a message over to architect and tell architect that I'm going to be uploading the updated documents into a new Gemini window to create a new liaison, and to prepare a welcome message to update the new liaison with all of the major changes and things that we've done in the last little while. And then after I finish calibrating the new liaison, then I'll upload that message from architect, and then boom, and then we just keep on going. And then at some point when architect reaches the 1 million token context window, then I'll just ask liaison. I'll tell liaison that I've been using architect since sprint number 3, and now I need to upload and I need to create a new architect because it reached the limit of its context window. And then I want it to. The other thing you could do is, so the last thing I wanted to talk about is the concept of what happens when it reaches the 1 million context window. So does that mean that like let's say that this is the chat. So does it mean that the context window is moving down, which means we lose the documentation from the beginning of that context window? Because I can just re-upload the documents and then it will be at the start of the next 1 million context window. And then as the window moves down, then when we hit this 2 million context window, then I need to upload the documents again. That's one possibility. The second possibility is that it actually slows down. The window actually starts going really slow. If the window's actually going really slow, then yeah, we need to create a new AI instance. But if the window doesn't slow down, then there's no reason to create a new AI instance. I can just re-upload the documents, and we can go from there. What is going on? That's a lot of text. So that is my current question. Basically, the question is, when we hit the 1 million context window, what's going on? Do I really need to create a new architect? Or do I just re-upload the new set of documents and then it remains within its context window? Hey, what's this? Anyways, I don't care. I don't need to look at it right now. I would say that this is kind of annoying. Replit is definitely the slowest out of all of these things. So I'm going to just have it hold for exact code because I got a meeting and I can upload that code later. All right. Got alarms always going off. Thanks for joining me. That is the key to AI right now.